guys, Scotty here. Today we're going to be looking at the Garnet Herzog. I've got one in the background here, and this is my own personal amp, preamp, whatever you want to call it. And today I'm actually going to take it apart for you guys so you can see inside. So I'm going to take apart my own amp and just for you guys so you can see what's inside. And we're going to look at a couple different schematics. Yeah, if that interests you, then stick around. If you're not interested in that and you want to just skip ahead to the video to some playing and you know, to see how it sounds, and skip ahead to the later sections of the video, let's get right into it. And we're going to do a deep dive today into the Garnet Herzog, so stick around. Alright, I've wanted one of these for a long time. This is a reissue Herzog. What we're looking at right now is the actual box that this came in, and I saved the box just in case I ever moved, which I did, from Garnet amplifiers. That's, you know, to my home in Ottawa. So I just thought that was a little interesting, but that basically shows you how much I care for this piece of gear. In addition to the amplifier coming, it also came with this manila envelope with some documentation in it, and very nice attention to detail here. Really like this. This document certifies that Garnet Herzog. Gives you this serial number here. It's from 2017, limited production run of hand-built Garnet Herzogs, and that says your name and tells you the serial number, and actually signed by Pete. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but Tyson? Not sure. Anyways, yeah, and then it includes, and this is all printed on really nice paper, which is just a nice little touch here. So Garnet Herzog reissue X. So it just gives you a little overview of the design function, some operating instructions. Yep. Some nice description of how to set it up and use it. That's kind of nice. And there's another page here. Herzog speaker output option. So here is the addition to the original schematic. So the schematic for this reissue is actually not on the net, because it's a combination of the 60s and 70s versions of the Herzog and the H-ZOG. This is a Herzog with an added speaker output option, and also with the relay switching. So just a little blurb there. And so yeah, three pieces of documentation. Very nice. And of course, this is my Herzog. So this was built in 2017. Now I'm not sure if Pete Thiessen, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not sure if he makes these himself or if he has somebody making these for him, but he owns the Garnet name, brand, I guess you could say, and you can buy one of these and have it custom made for you. And he gave me some choices in Tolex, so I thought it'd look really nice in white Tolex. So that's what I got. It was very reasonably priced too. At the time, the price may have gone up since then, but I think at the time it was 625 Canadian dollars to have this made and shipped to your door, which is a steal as far as I'm concerned. The build quality on this is very, very good, and I'm very happy with this. It's very, very well put together, and it's such a nice looking piece of gear. I love the way it looks with my amp pegs here. Now, I've never used this as an amplifier, but it does have a jack here to use this actually as a little amplifier. And then this is really nice here, the foot switch relay. This is a Randy Bachman Herzog, which a few slight little modifications. This would have been the 60s sort of schematic. It's a combination between, as far as I understand, between the 60s and the 70s schematic. There's two different schematics. There's the Herzog and then the H-ZOG. So they came out later with a relay for engaging the Herzog, which was a big improvement, and also with the later 70s H-ZOG included this speaker jack here, so you could actually use it as a little amplifier. And if you're reading about these online, you'll know that they're very similar to a champ. So yeah, it is. It's this being a reissue, 2017. It is sort of a hybrid between the original 60s Herzog and the 70s Herzog, or H-ZOG, I should say. So yeah, you with this model, you get the speaker output and the relay system. Otherwise, I think the original 60s just had the active and bypass. Let's have a look at the schematic for the original Randy Bachman Herzog. So we can see here that yes, the original Herzog had a double pole, dual throw switch for engaging the Herzog, which would be this guy here. But it did not have a speaker output, and it does look very similar to a champ, but it of course doesn't have a tube rectifier section, which in my opinion makes a huge difference to the sound of an amp. So I don't know that it's that similar to a champ, but certainly this part of it looks very similar. Now of course the whole key with this amplifier being this part here, which is essentially, a big 10-watt resistor, and you're basically tapping or sampling that sound, which goes through this switch and to your output. That's basically how it works. It's basically like a champ, but this is the only difference right here, and of course the rectifier section. So now that's the Herzog, and then on this page, now I'm pretty pissed because I actually was looking at this the other day, and as you see, I got oil on that. That's kind of irritating. But this schematic here is not even labeled, but this is the Herzog. This is the H-ZOG, which is from the 70s, and you can see we've added in a relay system for switching the unit in and out, and there is a bit of a rotary switch in this section which engages a few different voicings, bass and bright and normal, and what else? The power, the power section is slightly different as well, and it looks like there's a voltage divider here with several caps in the filter section feeding various portions of the amplifier, well, mainly the preamp here, and your 6v6 control grid, and the plate. So you got some different voltages going there. And yeah, so this one is slightly different. I haven't gone through and compared all the component values, but I'm sure there are one or two differences in there as well. But these are the two schematics, one for the H-ZOG and the Randy Bachman Herzog, which was the earlier version. Now both these schematics you can find online. These schematics are taken from this book, which you can also order online from the Garnet website. I believe I ordered this book when I ordered the amp. Now this book, I'll probably do a video on this book as well, because this book is an interesting little oddity, which really deserves a whole video on its own. It's quite an interesting, odd little thing. Just kind of, it is a really great book, but it is quite odd. It's filled with spelling mistakes and grammar errors and stuff, but just a plethora of really great information, and really happy that whoever put this book together did so that's great. But I'll do a separate video on this book. So yeah, so there you go. Zoe, Zoe, should you leave a Tupperware container on the ground? Should you leave the Tupperware? Is that good? Is that good? Oh, jeez. Did you have a good breakfast? Did you have a good lunch too? Is that good, Zoe? That's a good girl. Hmm? And out she comes. Wow, beautiful. Really nice, nicely powder coated chassis on the inside and the outside. Right, so let's have an even closer look now at the chassis. Made in Canada. Here's the part number of this transformer. And here's presumably one of our filter caps. This company says made in USA, so CE manufacturing. Looks like there must be multiple. This might be one of these multiple capacitor. That's what it looks like here, actually. Yeah, there might be multiple capacitors in that can there. And then our output, our speaker transformer. Let's turn around the camera. So, be really interesting to know the manufacturer where these transformers actually come from. Maybe somebody could look that up and leave it in the comments. It comes, the 6V6 valve that it comes with is a Mullard. Might be a little hard to see on camera, but this is a Mullard 6V6. It says made in Russia. So very nice. Mullard. Good brand of tube. Let's see what we have here under here. This is, what is this? Looks to be yet another bollard. Let's see if we can get in a little closer here. What is that? Hard to see. Okay, have a look at the front here. And let's turn it. Okay, I'm actually gonna put the camera down here for a sec. Okay, here we have a closer look at the front panel. Very nice powder coating job on this. Those big knobs, and they're input and output, and of course made in Canada. Alright, in order to get a good look at this, I got my Yorkville LP304 light here. I'm just using one fixture off here to light up the amp here. Just thought that was a cool thing. Yorkville, made in Canada. And here's a look at the inside of the Herzog. So on first glance it looks pretty simple. I'll just try and go through it as slow as I can. Under here's your power transformer. Here's your mains. And which one of these is your filaments? This, I believe, is your filament winding here, but very nicely done. Very nicely put together amplifier. Yeah, those are your filaments there. And looks like that's your high voltage side. Here's a close look at this capacitor can here. It's got multiple capacitors in it. Looks like some kind of a voltage divider network there. A little confused about these diodes. I really do not know. I don't know what those are for. You've got, looks like in the power section you've got a bridge, full bridge rectifier in there. 4 diodes and a couple capacitors there. It's a neon lamp, your fuse, switch for your mains. There is your foot switch here, which looks to be in parallel with the engage switch here, and that is connected to a relay, which I almost missed, but it's sitting right down in there and doesn't seem to be really connected to anything. It's just the wires keeping it in place. So there's your relay there. There's your input and your output. You can see that the output is coming off of this relay. The relay is being fed by this 1 megohm pot here, which is sampling from here, it looks. So I'm not sure if that is the 10-watt resistor here that we're looking at, or if it's this guy. Not entirely sure. But going back to these pots, I'm not sure of the manufacturer, but there's the part number. They're all the same pot, 1 meg ohm, and they all have the same part number, 450S3493. Yep. Not sure what the 1208 is. Maybe that's manufacturing date. There's a little cap just underneath there, hiding under there. There's your first 12AX7. Now, there's your 6V6. I'm not sure. Now, I'm going to. I've been kind of looking at this for a little while now. There are some small details here that I am not sure are significant or not, but I will point them out. One of the things that I noticed is that, okay, first thing, the resistors, there's a combination of resistors here. They're not the same style of resistors. So it looks like there are some metal, well, it looks as if right here we have a metal film resistor, and then the brown guy there is, anyways, I'm not sure the different style, like obviously they're different styles of resistor. So I thought that that was an interesting observation, because why not just use all the same resistor? But I think this piece of gear is, we're splitting hairs with tone here and trying to be very period accurate, I guess. And some of these things probably do matter when it comes to tone. And I would imagine, I mean, this is all just speculation, but the Garnet amplifiers has been making tube amps for years, so they probably have a few little secrets here that that maybe your average Joe like me don't really pick up on. But I thought that was an interesting observation, that seemed to be a conscious decision to put some different style resistors there. So that was, I found interesting. The other thing that I find interesting is that, you may have already realized this, is that it's almost impossible to tell without, getting in there and cutting components off and desoldering, what the specific values of these capacitors are. They have all, it looks as if they have all been purposely soldered in so that the identification markings and values are facing down towards the chassis. So I'm not sure if that's an effort to hide certain elements of the design, but certainly is something that caught my attention. That cap is hidden way up there, and all of these are soldered in. What are the chances that they're all soldered in an orientation such that you can't see, like, especially, there's a little ceramic capacitor there, but it's soldered in so you can't tell the value, as well as all of these other caps are the same, and even that big resistor there, you really have to really struggle to see the value on it. The same in this section too, with these two caps here. They're soldered with the values facing towards the chassis, which is an interesting observation, I will say. I'm not saying that was done on purpose, but it is quite interesting that they would all be soldered that way. So, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to figure out what those values are. You just have to desolder things and do some measurements, but I'm going to draw the line there because I'm not really looking at getting into desoldering components or anything like that. But you know, I think it is fairly simple design and could potentially make something like this, but there's a lot of complexity in seemingly simple designs, and I think that that's what we're looking at here. So I'll just give you guys one last look at this. So your power transformer here, you've got two windings coming out of here. You got your filaments and your high voltage. Here's your capacitor can. Looks like some kind of a voltage divider. We've got a network of diodes here, which is strange. I don't know what that's for because it seems like we've got a full bridge rectifier in here. So kind of don't know what that's for. Here's your foot switch for your relay, which is located over here, and your output comes off this relay. The relay is fed by this output, and which is in parallel with this output jack. And I would imagine that this, what we're looking at here, is this is the magic resistor, and when you put your jack in, I would imagine that it disconnects that resistor. And of course, here's your 12AX7 here. Sorry, 6v6 output tube. Under here, there's a grommet here and a grommet there. That is your output transformer, which is being fed by your 6v6. And here's your 12x7. So that is about as in-depth as I feel like doing today. If you want me to, if you have other questions or anything to add to this video, please do so in the comments. And if there's anything you should think I should add, or if you want to make me to make another video, then let me know. I'll do my best. Anyways, there is the Herzog. And again, seemingly simple, but I think I think there are a lot of design features here that are being glossed over. But very well put together, very well designed, and obviously a high degree and quality and workmanship here. I'm very impressed with the build quality. So yeah, I paid $625 for this. So I think even if you wanted to make one, I think you'd probably be you know, pretty up there in prices for parts. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do another video, perhaps if I can source some of these parts and see where they're coming from, and maybe get an idea of how much, you know, a build might cost. But that could be for another video. But I would highly recommend, just if you want one of these, just buying one, because they're so well made, and you know, I don't think you could make it as good yourself, and it's actually a really good deal for what you're getting. You know, and anyways, yeah. guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day there. I was having way too much fun. I was planning on putting the Herzog through the Roland actually jazz course, because I've seen Gordy Johnson do that one time. Use the jazz course too, and the Roland jazz course and the VT22, those deserve a whole separate video of their own. But yeah, I was just having way too much fun with the Herzog and kind of trying out some riffs. I was planning on doing some different settings and stuff. I'll show you the settings I was using right there, and then hopefully that's good enough or whatever. I think you kind of get an idea for how it sounds and stuff. It's really difficult to get it to sound good. So yeah, if you're not used to playing loud guitar for extended periods of time, then you might want to try something else. It can sound pretty bad too. I had it sound pretty decent there, but it's kind of unwieldy, and it really doesn't really do what you think it's supposed to do unless you're playing on 11 and my ears are bleeding right now, so well, at least they feel like they are. So I'm gonna call it a day, but yeah, that's the Garnet Herzog, and maybe I'll just show you my settings there just real quick. Had to draw the line there somewhere. I might do another video at some other point if you guys want me to, just showing different settings on it and stuff, but I think I'm gonna call it a day there for now. Just video's getting a little long, but yeah, so I had the input pretty cranked, tone 12 o'clock, and that the input and the output work together, and it's kind of just like a balancing act there. Then I had my I'm using a just a regular little foot switch here as a to relay switching thing, and that's plugged in to the back, and that's about it. It's pretty straightforward, just guitar goes in and then just like a pedal really, and then of course my VT22, and this amp here, as I was saying, it deserves its whole a whole video on its own, as well as this guy here. I was going to put the Herzog through the Roland too, because that's a really clean amp, but I don't know. I'll maybe do that some other time. But anyways, that's a deep dive on the Garnet Herzog. This is a 2017 reissue, the RI-X. So it is apparently as close as possible to the original Herzog, just utilizing the 8-ohm speaker out that you can just run it as an amp. I've never tried that. Maybe I'll try that in a different video. And the active switching relay, which is over here in that corner, as we saw in the video. So anyways, thanks for stopping by the channel. I really hope you enjoyed that video. If there's any other things that you would like me to do with this Herzog, please let me know in the comments, and there's going to be more videos coming. I'm going to do some videos on this amp here. Sort of a backstory there. This amp doesn't belong to me. It belongs to a friend of mine. And I've got some other amps here. I really want to get these SVTs going. And so yeah, stick around with the channel. We've got all kinds of fun stuff coming up here. And you Ottawa Scotty signing out. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Oh, okay, that's what.
Okay, let's try from the B again.
We should probably call it because it's getting late.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
do it one more time.
One more time. All right, 2, 3.